Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
It's one to help us with the space crunch.
Learning online. Some students in Surrey will take courses outside classrooms to try to ease overcrowding.
Some are very against the idea where their experience during the pandemic.
Plus, a 12-year-old is killed after being hit by a car on Vancouver Island. Police said the driver is just a few years older. And
lucky and blessed enough to live in an air-conditioned home.
People across BC try to stay cool amid more heat warnings.
Make sure you're out in the sun in the early part of the day.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burritt. Thanks for joining us. BC's largest school district is trying hybrid learning as a way to ease its crunch for student space. Starting in September, some students in Surrey will be part of a pilot project taking courses outside the classroom. Michelle Gassoub has more on the plan and concerns.
Back to school will look a little different for some teens in Surrey. Grade 10, 11, and 12 students who opt into a new pilot program will do some courses in class, the rest online.
It's one to help us with the space crunch that we have, but also it's important to recognize that this is 2025 and we live in a very technology advanced environment. And so what we're doing is preparing our students for their future.
It's an initiative that makes some parents wary.
Some are very against the idea where their experience during the pandemic was one where, educators were learning alongside students about how to deliver education through an online platform.
The district wouldn't say how many students will go hybrid, only that no one was forced to participate.
This is different from the pandemic experience. We recognize that there were lessons learned. We've taken those lessons. We're going slow. And we're going to have opportunities for feedback from our users, our students.
Surrey's population has exploded in recent years, leading to mass overcrowding in schools. The district has increasingly leaned on portables and extended school hours to accommodate the number of students. The government has said it spent $1 billion in Surrey alone for new schools and additions since 2017.
I challenge anyone to find a jurisdiction, maybe aside from China, that could build that quickly. And just on note of, because I commented on China, I will also say that they sacrifice and compromise a lot on safety and a lot of other aspects of their building that we're not willing to compromise on.
As students head back to class, the province is touting 700 new seats in 3 schools and says work is underway to create 2,300 more. Michelle Gassoub, CBC News, Surrey.
Police say a 12-year-old has been killed in a crash on Vancouver Island on Monday night. He was out rollerblading with his family when police say a Honda Civic lost control and hit them before crashing into a telephone pole. Mounties were called out around 8:30 p.m. to Hillbank Road, north of Shawnigan Lake, about 45 kilometers from Victoria. They said the driver and the passenger of the car, both 17 years old, stayed at the scene and later were taken to hospital for minor injuries. Police say speed played a big role in this crash. So far, no charges have been laid. Police in Surrey are reporting an uptick in phone fraud with alleged scammers spoofing the force's non-emergency line. The force says fraudsters have contacted people to try to get their personal or financial information, and the incoming call appears to be from the SPS's non-emergency number. The caller may even fake an officer's name and badge number to try to win some trust. Police are reminding you they will never ask you for money and warn you to never provide personal information over the phone. A cross-border rescue operation played out on the water south of Tofino on Sunday.
Okay, roger.
A Royal Canadian Air Force crew from 19 Wing Comox joined forces with the U.S. Coast Guard to carry out urgent medical evacuations for 2 passengers from the Ruby Princess cruise ship as it sailed from California to Alaska. The call for help came through the Joint Rescue Coordination Centre in Victoria. A Cormorant helicopter and Kingfisher aircraft were launched from Comox to help with that rescue. An emergency manager on Vancouver Island, meanwhile, is calling on the province to help more with emergency alerts. As Catherine Marlowe reports, he says it could help smaller communities share critical information.
In the case of immediate life-threatening hazards, local governments and First Nations can ask the province to send an alert through BC's emergency alert system, which interrupts radio and TV broadcasts and sends an alert to all nearby cell phones. But for other notifications, warnings about heat or boil water advisories, for example, municipalities send the info themselves. Some rely solely on social media and web posts, while others send emails, texts, and make landline calls that people have to sign up for in advance. They may also contract out third-party mobile notification systems that also require sign-up. That can mean that a region with multiple municipalities, like Metro Vancouver and Greater Victoria, can be covered by a patchwork of different notification systems, one for each local government. Sean Koopman says it makes more sense for the province to hold one single contract like they do in Alberta.
The province contracts with it and provides each local community with access to provide notifications for their specific area. And then whether you're driving from, Fort Mac to Edmonton, you're not going through 5 different notification systems on your trip. It's one default system.
He says that would allow small communities to sign on without having to cover the costs themselves, and allow people who live and work in different municipalities to subscribe to one single alert app instead of having to get themselves on multiple notification lists. But Aaron Stockhill says the system works pretty well as is because the province's alerts get to people near the emergency using cell towers.
So unlike the subscriber-based alerting systems where folks need to opt in, they need to be subscribed, there's no guarantee that someone who's subscribed is in close proximity to the hazard. So this broadcast intrusive system ensures speed and effectiveness so that the people that need to know will be made aware.
When asked by CBC, the province did not say whether they would consider making changes to the alert system. Catherine Marlowe, CBC News, Victoria.
For the second summer in a row, ash trees on the Lower Mainland are again under threat from an invasive beetle. The emerald ash borer is native to Northeast Asia. The city of Vancouver says ash trees make up just under 5% of its trees, but says losing them would be devastating to the canopy and would raise temperatures during the summer.
But it's very deadly. It's a specialist. It specializes on ash trees, and it attacks the ash trees. It basically, females lay their eggs, and then the larvae go inside of the bark, and then they make tunnels, and that basically cuts off the supply of water and nutrients to the tree, and then the trees die within 2 to 5 years.
The city is using an insecticide called triazine to kill the beetles. It can be injected into healthy trees as a preventative measure. An out-of-control wildfire burning between Hope and Spuzzum is now slightly smaller. The BC Wildfire Service says the Sailor Bar blaze was discovered late Saturday, 7 kilometers north of Yale, near the Fraser River. It is burning at 1.1 square kilometers in size. Fraser Valley Regional District says evacuation alerts are in effect for about 240 people over 85 properties on the east and west side of the river. Meanwhile, heat warnings have now been issued for several regions of a province, including the Fraser Canyon, South Thompson, and South Okanagan regions. Marcella Bernardo was in Kamloops, where the high hit 39 degrees.
Most people in Kamloops are used to this kind of heat, but not this late in the summer. So I spoke with a woman who moved to Canada about 6 years ago from Egypt, and she said she can't remember the last time it being so hot. So she said she hasn't experienced heat like this since she left Africa, and she doesn't miss it. I also spoke with some people down at Riverside Park who said they're very glad that they have air conditioning at home.
I'm lucky and blessed enough to live in an air-conditioned home. I've got misters, sprinklers, and friends to hang out with.
Stay in the shade. Make sure you're out in the sun in the early part of the day, but be inside hottest part of the day.
And Marcella, how is this hot weather affecting the risk of wildfires?
Well, the dry weather obviously increases the risk of wildfires. So especially in the Fraser Canyon, where Lytton has repeatedly broken heat records in recent years as Canada's hottest community, the temperature there hit 41.3 degrees on Monday, surpassing the 37.2 record set back in 1934. And we just got off the phone with the BC Wildfire Service a few minutes ago, and they basically told us that there will be a campfire ban implemented late in the week heading into the Labor Day long weekend. So that's going to be taking effect at noon on Thursday for the Kamloops Fire Center region and also for the North Okanagan.
Marcella Bernardo in Kamloops. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Science and climate specialist Darius Madavi is here with our first look at the weather. It's hot, it's dry, and we've got lightning?
That's right. Now we've got a perfect setup for some not so great fires. I said that in a weird way. We've got a bad setup in terms of the fire situation. We've seen a lot of heat. We've seen some winds drying out some of those fuels. We haven't had nearly as much lightning as we have seen down south of us, but there have been some lightning strikes, and we're expecting to see more lightning as we head into the end of the week. We still have several excessive heat warnings in place for the inland sections of the north and central coast, as well as the Fraser Canyon, Lower Thompson, and the southern parts of the Okanagan, as well as a weather statement, because we're not quite meeting the criteria for parts of Vancouver Island. So a lot to be watching, Dan. We'll have more later in the show.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you.
The heat is not a deterrence for some keen shoppers. If you were near Vancouver's waterfront, you may have noticed a very long line. Thousands of people waited hours to get into the Aritzia warehouse sale. Our Jessica Chung went and spoke with some eager shoppers.
Now, the line here outside the Vancouver Convention Centre snakes all the way around this boardwalk and at some times stretch all the way to Stanley Park. Now, thousands of people are patiently waiting here to get into the Aritzia warehouse sale. It's the first day that this event is open to the public, and I actually spoke with some workers at the door who said the first people in line got in line at 6:30 p.m. yesterday, meaning that they were in line for over 12 hours just to be the first to snag some of these discounts. Now, we also spoke with some others who also waited in line for quite a long time, and also others who came from outside of the city just to be here. Well, how did you sleep here last night?
We had like a towel and like chairs.
Right here. We just put them on the floor and then we just slept together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any sleep?
No.
Like 1 hour. Yeah. 30 minutes, yeah.
I didn't sleep.
Things people do, I guess. Like this economy, bro. We gotta line up.
We live in Chilliwack, so we left at 3 in the morning because the girls wanted to get to the hall.
I feel like you should probably know what you want, just so like you know what to look out for.
And if you also see something you want, just grab it.
This is a 7-day sale and it draws out thousands at the end of every summer. It's become a bit of a staple here in Vancouver. Now, most of the people who waited in line came out with these huge Aritzia bags, and when I asked them if it was worth it, here's what they had to say.
It's not organized at all. It's just everything's everywhere, but honestly, as long as you dig through piles, you'll find stuff.
The sales are so, like, such a good sale. Like, something that I bought was usually $130. Now I bought it for $45. So, like, yeah, when you add it all up, it's really worth it.
Crowds of shoppers are expected to come through the sale this week. The event goes until September 1st. Jessica Chung, CBC News, Vancouver.
The life of former BC Premier John Horgan is now the subject of a new biography. Horgan was working on the book when he died last November after living with cancer. Entitled John Horgan, in his own words, it's set to release this fall. CBC News spoke with the book's co-author.
Based on a series of interviews that we conducted over a fair amount of time. There were the substantive interviews that we did in the spring of 2023 on the real serious issues like LNG and Site C and the Trans Mountain Pipeline, COVID, relationships with the Greens, all the heavy-duty stuff that came across his plate as Premier. And it wasn't determined yet at that point that there would be a book, although John was interested in leaving some kind of a legacy. And I was chosen to do those interviews. And I did them as a journalist. And I pushed him and said, well, come on, John, is that really right? That kind of stuff. And it was recorded at Royal Roads University. And they had people there to record it all. And they went very well, those substantive sessions. And the decision was made, well, yeah, there's good stuff for a book. And he's serious about these issues, talks well about them. And so then we had to fill in the blanks, so to speak, and his early life and his early years in politics before he became Premier. And by then he was the ambassador to Germany. So we started a series of Zoom sessions while he was in Germany. So those went very well. He's a great storyteller. Try to pick one. You may not even get one. There's so many. And then he got another cancer diagnosis, and they came to a halt.
A day of disruption in Israel. Tens of thousands of protesters hit the streets urging an end to the war in Gaza and negotiations to release hostages seized by Hamas. The latest after this. In Tel Aviv, families of hostages and their supporters are holding a new wave of nationwide protests, calling for hostages in Gaza to be released and the war with Hamas to end. Margaret Evans is in Jerusalem with the latest.
Tel Aviv's Hostage Square, and the culmination of a day designed to put pressure on Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to accept a ceasefire for hostages deal. There were marches, blocked roads, and protests outside the homes of government ministers. 20 hostages are still believed to be alive, including Yehuda Cohen's son, Nimrod.
Another day to make sure the issue of the hostages stays in high priority. Another day to pressure Netanyahu and force him to end the war and get a hostage deal.
Hamas accepted a deal put forward by mediators last week, based on a 60-day ceasefire and an initial release of half the hostages. Netanyahu has yet to formally respond, bringing people to the streets across Israel.
Opinion polls have consistently shown that a majority of Israelis favor a ceasefire in exchange for the release of the hostages. But despite sustained pressure at demonstrations like this one, it hasn't budged the Prime Minister.
Many Israelis say that's because he fears hardliners in his cabinet will topple his government if he ends the war.
It still feels like he's spitting in our face and just not listening. And I think it's just because he wants to stay in office, and the henchmen that he's created around him help him do so.
International pressure has also increased on Netanyahu after the UN's hunger watchdog confirmed a famine in Gaza City last week. And in the wake of outrage over the killing of at least 20 people, including 5 Palestinian journalists, in a double strike on a hospital in Khan Yunis on Monday. Journalists in Gaza City, including Marwan Al-Khoul, paid tribute to their colleagues.
Our message is clear. We need protection.
The Israeli military said an initial incomplete investigation suggested its soldiers were aiming at what it said was a Hamas camera placed near Al-Nasser Hospital. It did not explain a second hit on the same location minutes later as would-be rescuers arrived. Margaret Evans, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is extending Canada's military mission in Latvia until 2029 as part of the effort to deter further Russian aggression in Europe.
We look back at the differences from the years leading up to Latvia's reclaiming of independence. If you recall the peace efforts of disarmament efforts, I guess I should say, of President Reagan, his slogan at the time was trust but verify. Trust but verify the actions of Gorbachev. Well, Vladimir Putin is not Mikhail Gorbachev. He seeks darkness, not glasnost. He seeks empire, not perestroika. We can't trust but verify with Putin. As we think about the process through the coalition of the willing, we must deter and fortify.
Carney made the announcement at Latvia's capital, Riga, where he's meeting with the country's prime minister. Part of a trip to strengthen ties with European nations. There are now 2,000 Canadian Armed Forces troops in Latvia as part of Operation Reassurance. That's our biggest overseas mission. The troops have been there since 2017 to strengthen the defense of Europe's eastern flank and to deter Russia from invading Baltic countries. Plenty of salmon here in BC and plenty in Alaska as well. The Hungry Bear is taking in a feast of spawning salmon at Brook Falls. Some good salmon runs and hot weather to do some fishing yourself, perhaps. Daria says your BC-wide weather forecast coming up.
This is Vancouver is a new CBC podcast where we explore the issues, the stories, and the people that make this place home. Listen to This is Vancouver wherever you get your podcasts.
Well, it is almost back to school time, and if you're a parent or guardian preparing to make your kids lunch every day, or maybe you're a student on campus, finding an affordable meal can be a challenge. Our friends at CBC Street Sense, though, have been doing $5 lunch challenges for more than a year now. Here's one that focuses on getting as many calories as possible.
I want in.
On what?
$5 lunch challenge, as many calories as possible.
Will they even accept this?
They'll accept anything for the gains.
For the gains? But do empty calories count? $5.88 here.
It's too bad this pound of butter is over budget because it would be literally 3,000 calories.
Hey, the price is right.
And if you ate the whole bag, it'd be 1,100 calories. Seriously though, the hardest part is always nutrition and protein, and I will not be the reason that Sam gets a heart attack. Not on my watch.
$4 mac and cheese?
560 calories, but 26 grams of fat.
But is that okay for the gains, though?
I don't know, I'm not a gym bro. What do I look like?
Wait, I like this better. Price drop, $1.50.
430 calories and only 12 grams of fat.
Now I have money for add-ons.
I gotta find the smallest and the ripest looking one.
Okay, we just need one.
Fuji apple? I don't know what I'm doing, but let me cook, let me cook.
Can I please get a single tortilla, please?
It's burning my hand. Ow, ow,
How much do I have to pay for some peanut butter packs?
They came in clutch. They gave me 4 for free.
Most calories. $1.
Yay! Open your eyes.
Oh, wow.
We got chicken fried rice, peanut butter banana tortilla wrap, an apple for color, and a Mountain Dew.
Don't mind if I do.
Total calories, 1,525.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. Altogether, $4.33. And that's lunch under $5. Most calories edition.
All right.
No.
Joining us now is the lunch budget master herself, a non-gym bro, Hannah Hormel-Yutta. Thanks for being here. First off, Hannah, how did this challenge come to be?
Well, we really wanted to make a way to find affordable lunches for people and get it done within a tight budget. So $5 was really the smallest that we could go, and we've been pretty successful so far. So it's been a great run.
And you have done a lot of these challenges. How hard is it to make it work? I mean, you see the effort you had to put in there from butter to bananas.
It's really hard because $5 is not a lot of money, and oftentimes we have different themes and dietary restrictions that we have to abide by. So for example, we did high calorie, we've done gluten-free, dairy-free, halal-friendly, and that really puts a restriction on the types of foods and ingredients that we can include in the food. So it's a lot of reading labels, calling ahead, checking flyer deals, and we really just make this way harder than it has to be.
Just for emphasis. So you have been doing this for a while. Are there any foods that you found are, if we can call them, stubbornly affordable?
Yeah, bananas. I didn't know that you could only buy one banana at a time. I thought you had to buy the whole bunch the entire time, and that was really shocking to me. But yeah, we used to get a lot of comments about how the bananas were kind of carrying these $5 lunch challenges, and we had to stop using them for a while, but every now and then we find a way to sneak one in.
So just like the burrito, students are also going back to school, as we know, whether it be university or secondary school or elementary. Do you have a couple of top tips to make those lunches affordable?
Yeah, I'd say you can't find everything you want in one place, so definitely shop around, take advantage of flyers and loyalty programs and app deals as well. If you really like a restaurant, download their app, But my biggest tip of all is to have a physical $5 bill with you, because you really just can't spend more than what you have.
Good tips. Hannah Hormel-Yutta with CBC Street Sense. We appreciate your time. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
If you are heading to Vancouver International Airport, listen up. YVR says passengers may face delays and cancellations this evening due to staffing constraints at NAV Canada. That's the agency that oversees air traffic control across the country. YVR says passengers may experience changes to their flights as a result of this, including delays which may affect connecting flights as well as cancellations, particularly on regional routes around BC. It reminds passengers to double-check their flight status before coming to the airport. For its part, NAV Canada says it is working to hire more staff. A Quebec-based steel can maker is expanding operations into Ontario and bringing its entire supply chain back to Canada. It's doing so in an effort to stem the blow of steep tariffs on steel and aluminum, since most of Canada's food cans come from south of the border. The CBC's Philippe de Montgeny has more.
Since steel tariffs between Canada and the US came into effect, this Quebec food can maker has seen its sales more than double.
After the tariff, the phone ringing, we receive call every day.
As Canadian food companies scramble to avoid these extra costs.
Before Ideal Can, there were no Canadian can manufacturers. So we were left with having to source from the United States.
Sprague Foods, which sells canned soups, beans, and vegetables, is one of many to make the switch.
We would have been left with passing those tariffs off to our customers.
The CEO of Ideal Can is now looking to expand to Ontario, launching a new plant in the Windsor region in January, which could produce around 1.2 billion cans a year by 2028.
There used to be like a lot of blue-collar jobs in this city, and there simply isn't anymore.
It's something that we could really use.
The Windsor region has one of the highest unemployment rates in the country, at more than 10%. Next year, the company also plans to open a cutting and coating facility in Hamilton, near its steel supplier. That part of the production is still only done south of the border.
And they ship them back up. No, that's stopping.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is on board with the Ideal Can expansion, which could create more than 100 jobs. But experts say shifting an entire supply chain is not necessarily economical.
Building a plant is always a challenge because you have to know what will be the payback period for your investment. And so usually payback periods are at least 8 to 10 years. So these are long-term decisions.
And even beyond food cans, untangling these contracts and supply chains for much more integrated sectors like auto manufacturing is no easy task. Philippe Demontigny, CBC News, Toronto.
Meanwhile, Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is in Washington for talks with Donald Trump's administration. He met with the Secretary of Commerce this morning in his office as Canada tries to reach a new trade deal. Ashley Burke has more from the Capitol.
A Canadian source tells me there's a sense of urgency right now that the Canadian side sees a window to try and reach a trade deal with the U.S. But the source also said there is no guarantee that will happen in the next few weeks. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is here in Washington right now. He met with Donald Trump's Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, at his office this morning for a conversation that lasted 90 minutes. LeBlanc's office describes it as constructive, as Canada is trying to get Trump's administration to drop or lower tariffs on a series of Canadian sectors. Here's what the Prime Minister said today.
Aluminum, steel, autos, copper. They happen to have a specific on copper, and then, of course, lumber, softwood lumber, which has been an issue. So those are the areas where immediately we are focused on improving the outcome. Okay? In order to do that, we will have to look at other areas where we can have win-win cooperation, other areas. Now, so it's not, it's an isolation of the set of issues around there, around those strategic sectors for the American, and all of this in the context, as you know, of an upcoming review on CUSMA.
This meeting comes after Mark Carney announced last week he would drop some retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. because he says he was given assurance by Donald Trump over the phone that it would intensify talks. A Canadian source tells me that after Carney made that announcement, there were text exchanges between the Prime Minister and Trump, and that they agreed LeBlanc would come here to Washington for these discussions. Now, Canada's ambassador to the U.S., Kirsten Hillman, was also there. The Prime Minister's Chief of Staff and the Clerk of the Privy Council are also in D.C. These are top officials signaling how serious these conversations in the U.S. Capitol are. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Washington.
Australia is accusing Iran of orchestrating 2 anti-Semitic arson attacks in Sydney and Melbourne. Intelligence services linked Iran to an arson attack on a cafe in Sydney last October and another on a synagogue in Melbourne in December. Australia gave Iran's ambassador 7 days to leave the country, the first such expulsion since World War II. Homes, schools, synagogues, and vehicles in Australia have all been targeted by anti-Semitic vandalism and arson since the Israel-Hamas war began in October of 2023. Health Canada is cautioning Canadian travelers of another outbreak of a flesh-eating parasite by the name of New World screwworm. A travel-related case was confirmed this week in the U.S. Alison Northcott explains the risks for humans and animals.
These are the preferred victims of the New World screwworm. The flesh-eating parasite typically feeds on livestock, but U.S. health officials say they've identified a rare human case, a patient in Maryland who recently traveled to El Salvador.
It's about as bad as anything you can imagine. Being eaten alive by a maggot is what it is.
A human case was also identified in Canada earlier this year, a patient in Toronto who had traveled to Costa Rica.
Screwworm can eat through live tissue. It can lead to secondary infections, and it can even lead to death.
While human cases may be disturbing, they're rare and treatable. Experts say it's much more common in livestock. The parasite is found mainly in Central and South America and the Caribbean. It was eradicated in the U.S. in the 1960s, but there are fears it's creeping back north.
This can result in billions of dollars of losses a year. It could truly crush the cattle industry.
For years, the flies were contained thanks to millions of sterile male flies released in affected areas to stop them from breeding. Now, U.S. officials plan to release up to 100 million more flies a week to stop the spread in Panama and Mexico.
It has broken free. It's been a problem in some of the Caribbean islands again, and it's been a fear that it's just a matter of time before it reemerges as a problem in livestock in the United States and maybe even eventually in Canada.
But Canada's Food Inspection Agency says the parasite can't survive Canada's cold winters. For ranchers in Texas, though, the risk feels too close.
It's something that, it does worry me as a rancher.
Health Canada says while this parasite is unlikely to become established in Canada, it says with climate change and the move north, Canadian travelers could be at risk if they visit affected areas. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Call it the love life of a showgirl and a tight end. Pop megastar Taylor Swift saying yes to a proposal from her now fiancé Travis Kelce. We'll take you inside the global reaction next. It has been hot and dry and smoky and fiery across Canada this summer, and researchers say this could have dire consequences for an iconic butterfly. Jaden Dill has more.
The monarch butterfly relies on nectar from plants as fuel for its fall migration to Mexico, but a group of Ottawa researchers say this summer's intense heat and drought conditions could be putting this endangered species at further risk.
Climate change is increasingly on our radar for how it's affecting monarchs. And so again, with a year like this, it has the potential to really decline or decrease the number of monarchs that are making it to Mexico and then consequently the ones that'll come back.
At a farm near Arnprior, monarchs fly from flower to flower sucking nectar. Researchers from the University of Ottawa are experimenting on 5 plant species in an open field to see how the nectar fares under warmer temperatures. They place netted cages around pairs of plants of the same species, and then enclose one of those plants in a mini greenhouse. So tell me what's happening to these goldenrod flowers right now.
So they're sitting in our warming chamber, our open top chamber, and what's happening is we hope they're experiencing a slight degree of warming that replicates local climate change.
The researchers explained that temperatures in the mini greenhouses rose to 50 degrees during one of this summer's heat waves. The lack of rain has added another layer of complexity.
So far, there's a combination of things. One, it's entirely killed off some of the plants that we've been considering. So in that sense, there is no food from those plants available. There are no flowers. But from the flowers that we still have available, it looks like the sugar and the nectar, the sucrose, is getting to be more concentrated and more difficult to pick up. And so right now we're looking to see how monarchs are going to respond to those flowers that have been under these drought conditions.
To run the experiment, the researchers took 5 monarch butterflies from the area, and from them bred another 300. The experiment ends on September 15th, and some of the monarch butterflies will be released after that. Jaden Dill, CBC News, near Arnprior.
Darius Mandavi here with the BC Wide Weather Forecast and also a countrywide look at temperatures. And Lord, it's been hot this summer.
That it has. Temperatures remain anomalously high here in Western Canada. Meanwhile, in Eastern Canada, just to take a broad look across the board, especially Ontario, much cooler than normal, and that extends down into the southeastern United States as well. Now, that heat is going to stick around. This map shows from Tuesday through Thursday, today through Thursday. If we take a look at the next 3 days after that, from Friday right through Sunday, you can see that heat really sticking around. Less so for here on the coast, but especially for those areas further to the north and the northeast. We're looking at really high temperatures, some places in the territory seeing 15 degrees above normal through that 3-day period. So that is a prolonged heat wave that we're going to continue to get, especially, again, in the interior. So these heat warnings, these ones down here remaining in place right through Friday. The ones here on the coast, probably Wednesday or Thursday. That high pressure that is sitting over us just going to continue to bake us. It is going to shift a little bit further east, which is going to allow a little bit more cloud to move in here on the coast. Southwestern BC is going to see not just those outflow winds that we have been seeing, but some weak inflow as well. And as those two things meet over southwestern BC, we get a couple cloudier days, really just Thursday and Friday, and then the sun comes back for the weekend. So it's a bit of a change in the forecast from what we've had lately, but what's not changing is the trend in the fire danger. We continue to see that climb across BC. Pretty much no green left on this map, and the yellow is rapidly shrinking as well. High to extreme fire danger throughout the interior and rising here on the coast too. Those temperatures, you can see they're 39 in Kamloops today. I think we talked about that earlier in the show, but those temperatures coming down a tiny bit for tomorrow, may come down a little bit further for Thursday and Friday, more so here on the coast and less so for the interior. In terms of the influence of climate change, I want to talk, skipped it. I want to talk about that briefly. We have seen strong influence of high likelihood of these temperatures because of climate change. It's been made 2 to 5 times more likely across BC, the temperatures that we've been seeing, not just today, but yesterday and over the next few days. So strong influence there more than likely. At least these temperatures are becoming more likely as a result. Now, the map is not, there we go, a little bit slow, but we're getting there. The smoke and haze is going to be mostly a problem for southern BC. Besides that, we've got lots of sun over the next couple of days for most places, and here we go. It's just a little bit slow to respond sometimes.
Well, it's hot, you know.
Lots of sunshine. It's hot. It'll continue to be hot. And in terms of 5-day forecast, Dan, bit of cooling later this week, but still lots of sunshine.
Okay, Darius, thanks very much.
Thank you.
You may want to sit down for this. Pop megastar Taylor Swift and Super Bowl champion Travis Kelce are engaged, don't you know? This comes after Swift recently announced she's coming out with a new album, and Kelce gets set for the new NFL season. And as Magda Gabrisalasa reports, Swift's fan base is wondering how her engagement will impact her music.
Taylor Swift has taken her own advice, the pop icon saying yes to Travis Kelce. With this carousel of engagement photos, the pair broke the news on social media. In shock and shedding happy tears, Swifties are flipping out.
My one friend was driving and I was like, you're gonna have to pull over right now because of this news. Like, I don't want you to crash. Taylor Swift just got engaged.
It's a love story that took off in 2023 with Kelce making the first move.
This is sort of what I've been writing songs about wanting to happen to me since I was a teenager.
The relationship has been a magnet for headlines, with the pair pulling attention their way at the Super Bowl. This month, Swift even appeared on the Kelce Brothers podcast to announce her new album. Famously known for writing about the highs and lows of all her relationships, this music critic expects Swift to keep that kind of music coming.
In so many ways, forgetting the portrait of somebody who has grown up in front of their fans, and their music has reflected that journey. So it makes sense that a milestone like a marriage will really kind of add to that narrative.
Her engagement has already proven to be big for business. This Ralph Lauren dress reportedly selling out within minutes of the news getting out. Those at this bridal boutique are counting on Swift having a sweeping effect on the wedding industry too.
As soon as she comes out with something that becomes like the Taylor Swift dress or even the Taylor Swift engagement dress, or they see her bouquet, like I think it's going to affect every aspect of the industry for sure.
While a wedding date remains a mystery for now, it's clear Swift's wildest dreams are coming true. Magda Gabrisalasa, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, a legacy dance studio in Vancouver is celebrating a milestone anniversary, marking years of keeping the city's dancers on their toes. That story coming up.
Hi, I'm Amy Bell, and here's what's in your CBC inbox.
Join CBC's Dan Burritt on September 24th at Dakota's signature fundraising event, the Team Trivia Challenge, supporting Literacy Month in BC. Register your team at dakota.ca. And never miss a special programming series, event, or contest. Subscribe to CBC's e-newsletter at cbc.ca/Vancouver inbox and keep connected with us.
Harbour Dance Centre in Vancouver is celebrating 4 decades of teaching ballet.
The academy was launched in 1985 after a teacher and her student collaborated to promote the dance form in the city. CBC's Danielle Piper caught up with the centre's 2 co-founders.
You ever see a crab? A crab always go like this, right? I don't know where they go across the street. They could be killed, but they just go like that. They don't move around.
That's Danielle Clifford, a mainstay of the Vancouver dance scene and a renowned ballet teacher. She doesn't look like it, but Danielle's actually 83 and still dancing. Back in the early 1980s, she would teach ballet out of her basement in her house. And one of her many students was this young, aspiring dancer named Pamela Rosa.
And I remember her, she had these huge plastic pants. And she sweat like crazy. And by the end of the class, my floor was completely wet. And
thank you for remembering that.
Yeah, I never forgot that. I never
She used to
forgot.
come out with a mop after class.
And that's how she was.
That's how she remembers me.
That's
the
it.
sweater.
They formed a friendship over the years, and from there, they formed a business partnership where they taught dance classes. But soon after they began working together, they started to notice something. There weren't a lot of options for adult dancers in and around Metro Vancouver.
When I used to go and train in LA or New York or wherever I would go to take classes, I was always with people my age, my peers, and I felt comfortable in that scenario. So when we started teaching, we had our peers come and take our class because they had nowhere to train either.
Enter Harbour Dance Centre, a dance studio they established together in 1985 that's celebrating 40 years of success, and a place where adults with busy schedules could take classes with either beginners or professionals, like their former student, Shalimar Blanchard.
It was the only place that was offering dance classes for adults, and so as I got older, and you've got your commitments as well, the concept of being able to do it as drop-in was really great.
Shalimar eventually ventured deeper into her dance practice. She says that having a studio like Harbour Dance felt more and more like a place where she could practice, even during the summer months, and not feel out of place.
These summer schools, and they were catered to adults, so you didn't feel like an old lady going into a children's summer school. Like there was this thing that was actually catered towards adults.
But why should adults even care about dance in the first place? Like, what draws them to a dance studio? To answer that, I reached out to Laura Boyd. She's a neuroscientist and a professor of physical therapy at the University of British Columbia and the director of the Brain Behavior Laboratory.
So if you think about movement, you're activating motor areas of the brain. When you pair in music, now you have a whole bunch of really neat other things happening. So you're activating the areas of the brain that are interested in sound and auditory processing. You're activating rhythm, and you're probably also activating a whole bunch of the emotional structures of the brain. So now you have this really holistic activation pattern where you're using a lot more brain. And so you're probably going to get, the thinking is you get a bigger benefit.
Okay, so let's recap. We know from watching Danielle that dance keeps you young. We know from Pam that it fosters community of other like-minded individuals. We know from Shalimar that it helps you maintain fitness, even when you're super busy. And Laura says dance boosts brain health. So after decades of success, where do Danielle and Pamela see Harbour Dance in another 40 years?
I just think, dance has been around since the beginning of time. There's never been a time on Earth there hasn't been dance.
For CBC Vancouver, I'm Danielle Piper.
Bye. Bye-bye. Here we are, that's it.
Lovely.
Very much so. Thanks for being with us tonight on CBC Vancouver News at 6.
And we will have your next local news at 11 o'clock, right after the National. Good night.